It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
All right, let's move on to George's question. George says, okay, I'm trying to be the 4% that's using the HSA in the triple tax advantage way. Let's say we hit the out-of-pocket max. Are you required to keep all the receipts? Is there an electronic way to track and store the medical receipts? What are those requirements like?
Yeah, we get this question a lot, Brian. People say, okay, I want to do this, but how? I understand the theory, the academia. How do I actually do it? What's this look like in practice? And like when I file my taxes, if I got a thing, do I have to send my receipts to the IRS? How's it work?
Yeah, it depends on how OCD you are about organization of this. First, let me give you the basics. I think, yes, you have to. This is an IRS element, so I always want to keep the receipts. And fortunately, with everything being cloud-based, scanning, you can even scan with your phone now. If you haven't figured that out using the note portion of your phone, you can actually scan into PDFs, store those. It's very easy. I find myself doing that all the time. Even when I'm sitting in meetings, I'm scanning documents and putting them, uploading them out to my cloud folder. People, I'm sure my wife is annoyed by it.
Plus, it doesn't say a lot for the people you're in the meetings with.
No, because I'm doing something that they have
meetings?
done. If I'm sitting with somebody and they give me something that's valuable, I don't consider it rude if I'm doing something that pertains to their meeting, because I feel like it's not like I'm working on somebody else's stuff. I'm actually working on theirs. But I think you do need to keep the receipts. But then you have to ask yourself then where do you want to take the organization? Because if you're comfortable enough just knowing that I'm going to let this money work 10 years, 15 years, whatever you choose in the future, I think it's okay if you just sort it by year, keep the receipt somewhere. But there is a whole nother level for all my financial meetings. If you want to keep a spreadsheet, Google Sheets or an Excel spreadsheet where you're actually documenting, not only are you keeping the receipts in the file, but you're also keeping a spreadsheet so you know the number by year, so you kind of can go and compare and contrast what market value of your HSA is versus what you have in actual expenses. That's probably a value add as well, but it is going to require one additional step because you're going to have to do that point at some point. So you have to figure out, is that valuable now? Or should you wait until you're ready to go pull the money out?
Yeah, I scan in my receipts and then I keep a spreadsheet that I just add in, what was the date of the service, what was the date of the payment, who was the provider I paid, what was the amount, and then what was my method of payment. You probably don't have to do that much, but just as easier for me because I want to be able to, if I have to go one day, if the IRS asks me, hey, I saw that you had this reimbursement, show it to us. So, oh yeah, no, here's what I did on my credit card or whatever the thing is. And then I scan in my receipt, put it on the spreadsheet. It takes less than 60 seconds. Boom, boom, boom. And now I've got years and years of expenses at this point that I can reimburse myself for super tax-free.
Yeah. And by the way, if you go look at the form on your tax return, this is not going to be a very complex thing. It's basically there's a form on the IRS that says, what were your qualified medical expenses? What was the distribution from your HSA? They're not going to ask you to provide all those receipts or Excel spreadsheets at the moment that you file a tax return. You're keeping the receipts only for if you get audited or you have an inquiry or something like that. The actual what goes on the tax form is so simple, but you want to make sure, this, I've represented clients before the IRS before, you want to be on the right side of it with the IRS. They're the ones with the guns. They're the ones that they can just take your stuff. So be on the right side of the law. Don't do gray stuff, but make sure you're organized so that when you sit across or you respond to an inquiry from the IRS, you're going to be in a great place.
Love it.